Hello, everyone. Welcome to live stream with Wendler. It's Thursday, August 14th. As always, if anyone is watching this right now, please make a mention in the chat so I know that it's working and I'm not just talking to myself, so I can set this shit up. So I hope everyone had a good week. We have a huge jamboree scrimmage today. That's later tonight. So next week, I believe we're kicking off the season. So again, if anyone can see or hear me, everything's good to go. Please send a thumbs up or any kind of comment in the chat, and we're going to get started. We got our 2 albums ready to go. Little album review. Thank you guys. I've been feeling absolutely amazing. Physically, made some changes, and certainly not 100%, but the last week or something. Wow, what a change. All right, so thank you, Albert. Thank you, La Grande Fromage. He sent me 3. Zach sent me 1. A lot of thumbs up. All right, here we go. Let's get started with the first band. Both of these albums came out in 1998. From 95 until, I don't know, let's say 2010. Good morning, Gary. Appreciate it. 1995 was when I really started finding all the awesome bands. I was away at college. I had access to some really good record stores in Tucson, and I started reading a lot, like the zines and stuff like that. So ironically, this is not a zine band. This is a fairly big name band, Vision of Disorder. This came out in '98. It's called Imprint. Easily one of the top 10, my top 10 favorite albums. I am not a huge fan of hardcore. This would be described, I guess, as one of the first real metalcore albums. It is absolutely brutal. It is swirling versions of hate. It is not a clean recording. Tim Williams, the singer, can absolutely scream. He can sing very well too, and they actually do the good cop, bad cop vocal, but actually do it very well. It doesn't sound stupid like a lot of the metalcore bands today. There's a song on here for those just getting a seal of approval from big name bands. There's a song on Imprint called By the River. It's a vocal trade-off between Tim Williams and Phil Anselmo, both at their peak of their, I would say, their vocal dominance. Unbelievable album. The cool story, at least for me, is I got really into this album, the 1998, the summer and fall of '98, and we traveled, did the Arizona football team to our first game was in Hawaii. We spent about 6 days in Hawaii. It's a long story, but it was awesome. We got to, go out on the beach, party, all that other stuff. So and I listened to this album extensively during that time. So whenever I hear any song off this, I am immediately transported to Hawaii. What an awesome way to start off a year. For those that don't know, in 1998, the University of Arizona football team finished number 4 in the country. Unbelievable year. And that Hawaii game, the first play they kicked off to us, I was on kickoff team, and we returned it for a touchdown. And that was actually the first time on a college football field that I actually got to play offense. I was part of the short yardage goal line sit package. It was an unbelievable time. So what a great way to start off the season in Hawaii. Got to spend almost a week in Hawaii. What a good time. Oh my God, magical season. The next band, some of you have heard me talk about. This is a band called Scissor Fight. Beep. This album is called Balls Deep, easily top 10 in my book for greatest albums ever. There's not a bad song on here either. I don't know how to describe them except for incredibly down-tuned heavy rock. There's obviously metal in there, but it is fucking just crushingly heavy. This was before all the down-tuned dudes really started taking off, and they are in drop A. The lead singer of Scissor Fight, at least in this era, no longer, was a guy named Iron Lung. Now, if you go on the internet and look up Scissor Fight Iron Lung, and if you see a picture of Iron Lung, and if you think, you ask, well, what does that guy sound like when he sings? It's exactly what his name and how he looks. So really cool, a lot of stuff. Lyrics and songs are about Americana. Some of the myths and legends are in there. Talks about the Wendigo. The Essex talks about that. Captain Kidd, Quatrails Raiders. So some really different stuff. Absolutely love that band. Please check them out. Vision of Disorder Imprint. And again, this is Scissor Fight. This album is called Balls Deep. Don't let the goofy name of Scissor Fight hold you back. Obviously, scissor fight, we all kind of know what that is, and balls deep, ridiculous, absolutely crushing rock band and metal band, I guess. So anyway, here we go. Let's get started. SquatRX says all science, no effort, count me in. All right, that's in reference obviously to the thumbnail of this ridiculous live stream or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I just wanted to make a joke. I get a lot of questions, not so much on the live stream, but you know, sent to social media and stuff like that, and people just losing their minds about, you know, the science says this or whatever. Don't worry about it, guys. Listen, be consistent and give a ton of effort, and you're going to have to go bananas and be a little stupid. If you want to achieve something outside of your realm of possibility, you're going to have to push well past the science, well past any kind of smart training. Doesn't mean that your training shouldn't mostly be smart, but you got to be a little stupid. You have to challenge yourself, and you have to push yourself way beyond anything that you think is possible, okay? All right, Albert Wang says, when doing the Beyond 531, when is the best time to incorporate the main lift variation? Do I need to train the variations on a different block? No, you can do it whenever you want if you're using the Beyond 531. You can use it as the main lift, it is the supplemental lift, or you can just use the alternate lift as part of the supplemental lift. So you could do bench press, for example, as your main lift, and then use, like, I don't know, floor press or something like that for your supplemental. Because the Beyond is the way that I structure that, at least how I do it and kind of how I explain the book, there's no like peaking or anything like that. It's all about developing a high level of general physical preparedness and then strength and hypertrophy. So there's a lot of things that you can do. When I use alternate lifts, I generally just use them as the main lift, if I'm going to be honest, or again as a supplemental lift, since all we're doing with the people that I coach, again, this may not be you, but the people I coach, all I want them to do is get stronger and get bigger. We don't have to peak for anything, so we're just using the lifts to develop strength and size. That's it. So if you do that, you can use it for anything. You don't need to have this detailed program or anything like that. So at least I don't think you do. People get so crazy about, you know, peaking and this and that. Like, you can't peak like a 200-pound bench press, people. You need to get bigger and stronger. And I always like to say, people trying to carve jello, you need to build a giant base of granite. All right, stop trying to carve jello. It ain't gonna work. Alan, oh boy, Arajo. Okay, he says, good morning, Jim. Should I take out the belt on supplemental work, or this doesn't matter? It doesn't matter. All right, if you want to do it, that's awesome. And I think the other thing, Alan, is not every time, you know, for example, let's say that you do want to take it out, all right, for whatever reason. I don't know why, but let's just say that doesn't mean you have to hold that fast and steady, meaning maybe one day something feels a little off. Man, just put the belt on, not a big deal. The only thing I will say is, regardless if you wear a belt or don't wear a belt, please, dear God, develop a giant, strong, muscular belt, you know, your abs, low back, and anything, your obliques and stuff like that. You got to build that up, guys, regardless if you wear a belt or not. I think that is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in the training world, is thinking that just doing the major lifts is enough. That is enough. I will say, if it's your mom and dad and they're just trying to get into general fitness, but if you're trying to get stronger and bigger, you're going to have to get a stronger midsection. All right, that's regardless of what you're doing. All right. Okay, here we go. Jonathan Crossley, my good friend Jonathan. Jonathan has my utmost respect because he did one of the dumbest challenges ever, and apparently Jonathan's still alive, so good for you. And Tyler Drake says, good morning, boss. So thank you. I appreciate it, Tyler. Muy bien. All right. Man, I just trained before I got here. I don't know if you can tell my face is still red. It is so humid in my garage. Ugh. All right. Jonathan Crossley says, hey, I was chatting with a couple of parents from my kids' TK, I assume it's Taekwondo studio, both of whom are local law enforcement officers and are big into fitness themselves. Yep. And they expressed disappointment in LEO fitness. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. Hold on. I'm looking for LA So LEO fitness, so law enforcement, stuff like that. I'm sorry. And standards, unions aside, what are 4 to 6 fitness tests you would implement if you were in charge of a police department or law enforcement agency? Woo, you caught me off guard here. So I would probably, like, let's just say it's a perfect world, Jonathan. I would probably do, obviously the pull-ups would be big. I don't know if we would do a rep pull-up or a weighted pull-up, but I would probably just do a rep pull-up, right? You have to understand, Jonathan, you also have to have ease of fitness, okay? Meaning, or ease of testing. So you can't be like, listen, we're gonna do, this ridiculous thing. You gotta have, be able to set this stuff up. So I would do pull-ups. I would do a high handle trap bar, since most people can do that, all right? I would probably do a push-up test. It's not exact, but I think it'd be very easy to administer, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. So those 3 things, so that's just like upper body strength and lower body strength so far, right? And you don't have to like deadlift 500 pounds. You could pick whatever standards you want. I know the Army did like a trap bar kind of thing, so something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. The other thing is I would do some kind of conditioning test, and I would have maybe a couple different variations, because not everyone can do, I'm just thinking about myself, like if I would have something for maybe on an Airdyne bike and some kind of run test, and a mile and a half, or you could do like a 20 minutes or something on the Airdyne, something like that. And maybe if you're out, this would be like if you're on the beat, so to speak, maybe some kind of 300-yard shuttle test. So a shuttle, what we did was we had 30 yards. You'd mark off 30 yards and you run 10 of them, and you should finish in like a minute or less. That was, usually people, at least this is in football, this is not what everyone would do. You finish in about 50 seconds or 52 seconds. Or you could just do 50s, so what is that, 6? So that's back and forth 3 times. So that just off the top of my head, I think that would be pretty good. So you have kind of you have the strength, upper body pull, upper body push, something for the lower body, and some kind of conditioning, like longer, a mile and a half run or 2 mile or something like that, maybe on a bike, so you could alternate those. And the other thing would maybe be a 300-yard shuttle, and then, man, maybe some kind of agility test, some kind of cone drill. But I don't know how you'd actually implement that, So, and I think the other thing is maybe you would have variations. So maybe not everyone can trap bar or something like that. So you'd have to throw some stuff in there, to allow for more people to do it. Or if you can't do that, you can still be a police officer or something, but it would have to be in a different capacity. So like, I have some friends who are police officers. I have friends who are firefighters. I have friends who are behind desks. I have friends who are out in the, walking the beat, so to speak. Man, I would not want to be walking the beat if I had a partner who didn't know how to tackle, didn't know how to run, couldn't handle himself, so to speak. It doesn't mean you have to like fight fucking Chuck Liddell or something like that. But if you get frazzled by a normal male and you can't take him down, or you can't defend yourself and stuff like that, you're a liability, not just to yourself, but to the people around you, and especially your partner. So I think that would be very important. How that would be done, the unions would probably squash it right away. I don't think it could, but in a perfect world, that's probably what I would do. Some very basic stuff. So, okay, Jonathan, great question, man. I don't have all the answers, Jonathan, and so one of the things my wife and I were talking about this week is I remember someone, this was back in the Elite FTS days, someone was sent in a question. We were talking just back and forth about different things, and one of the things was people who are constantly complaining, and he echoed what his platoon sergeant or whoever, his higher up said, is like, if you don't have a problem if you don't have a solution. So stop complaining unless you're part of the solution. And I remember reading that and thinking, hell yeah. And then I remember myself, this is probably in, you know, the early 2010s. You know, I was like everyone else, I was bitching about the state of the youth of America and stuff like that. But I took a step back. I'm like, well, what the fuck am I doing to make things better? And I wasn't doing anything. Complaining online and, you know, doing what I did doesn't help anyone directly. It really doesn't. And so that's one of the reasons why I started working with the London football team, was because like I got to put my money where my mouth was, and I wanted to see if I was still a fairly good coach. So again, you know, I don't want to complain about all the, you know, police officers have one of the worst jobs in the world. You're always around shittiness, and when most people need you and see you, it's really at a bad time, I'll be honest. That doesn't mean that obviously there's some bad police officers, but by and by they are, it's a shitty job. It's a tough job. I couldn't imagine doing it, man. So good on you guys. But man, if I was in that position, I would want to be as fit as possible. And that doesn't mean just benching 400 pounds. It means being able to do all the little shit and, you know, having great conditioning, having great mobility and stuff like that. So, all right, enough. That was really me, because I got pulled over for I was going way too fast. The guy let me go, so thank God. So I'm just waxing poetic about police officers. All right, here we go. Paul Hulk says, my God, did I get a lot of speeding tickets when I was probably 20 to 23. Oh my God, how I didn't get my license taken away. One of the times I got pulled over, the police officer, you know, it was on a highway, came out and I was fucking running. I was like, oh shit, what's going on? I could see him. He's like, you got some kind of death wish, boy? I was like, no, I'm just trying to get home. Anyway, you got some kind of death wish? I talk like he's got a southern accent. It was in Illinois. Anyway, Paul Hulk, sorry, Paul, says, what brand of 45-degree back extension do you recommend? I want to get one for my home gym. All right, so I've used quite a few, not quite a few, I don't know, maybe a dozen or so back extensions, and there seems to be like two kinds of back extensions. The ones that you generally see in most regular gyms, nothing wrong with them, but you can't really load them very heavy. If you put a barbell or use any kind of weight, they feel like they could tip over, okay? The one that I was gifted, actually, is the one that I've used the most. We had one at Westside. We had like the very first one ever made at Elite FTS, since we're the ones that developed it. Elite FTS, not me. If you have the money and the space, I highly recommend the Elite FTS Pro 45-degree back raise. Unbelievable piece of equipment. I've put 135 on my back, done tons of reps. Obviously, you can go much heavier. That thing is built like a tank. The back end is super heavy. And the other thing is, I also lift up the back end. I put 2 cinder blocks underneath it, and you can just do regular back raises. The other thing you can do with the Elite FTS 45-degree back raise is when you adjust the pad, you can do Nordic leg curls, and you can start with it at 45 degrees. It makes the Nordic leg curl very easy. You can kind of progress and then lift up the back end and make it harder. I love doing that. That thing is built. Listen, if we ever get hit with a nuclear bomb, there's going to be cockroaches in the Elite FTS 45-degree back race. And just like most of the shit that Elite FTS has built, equipment-wise, bomb-proof. Absolutely. Well, right, I just said it's going to survive a nuclear blast. So that's what I would recommend, Paul. Doesn't mean that there's not other great brands out there, but it's been my experience. So, but just be okay with spending that money. I don't know what it costs anymore. I haven't checked the prices, you know, especially since the virus came and COVID coroned us all out. So I'm sure things have increased, but as always, I would do your research. If you can, use a couple of different ones, which I know is fairly difficult. But, you know, as always, buy nice, don't buy twice. So, all right, KRG says, hey, boss man, did you have a different version of the template for busy men that was upper-lower split? Or am I delusional? Upper was 5-3-1 bench, or press accessories were 5 sets of 10 incline and 5 sets of 10 row. Okay, I see what you're asking here. So the original like 2-day program, there was a couple different versions of the 2-day program. Okay. KRG, one of them is what you're referencing here. Okay, so it was upper and lower split basically. And then there was another variation that was on one day you would do bench and squat, and the other day you would do deadlift and press. So, and then you have this one that you're referencing here. And then the article I wrote, and this was it was obviously on the forum first, and then I put it up on the blog, was a different version. And this was a more, I want to say it's not better, KRG, it's just different. And it just gives you a lot of different variations, right? There's a million ways you guys can lift weights. I think everyone knows that, right? There's not just one way. You got to do sets of 4, got to do sets of 2, you got to do 10, whatever. There's a million ways to lift, guys. You can use machines, body weight, kettlebells, barbells. I don't fucking care, and I'm not going to get in. That's such crap to start thinking that you got all the answers. You don't. So KRG, my advice to you is whatever version or idea speaks to you, let it rip. The new version that's on the blog and the new version that, it's called busy training for, or training for busy and inconsistent men. It allows you to train based on a kind of a fucked up schedule. So if you can only train twice a week, here you go. If you're feeling kind of bad, you can do this. If you're feeling great, you can do this. If you want to train twice a week on 1 week, 3 times a week, then maybe 4, or you could do 5, whatever it is. It allows you a ton of variations and gives you some allowances based on not just your daily readiness, but your weekly readiness, so to speak. So that would be my advice to you, is pick one, whatever speaks to you. And it doesn't mean that one's better than the other. It's just one you may want to do more. Like the original one that you're referencing, I use that all the time. All right. I loved it. I would never do it today, personally. If I could still lift weights or wanted to lift weights, I personally wouldn't do it. But I'm at a different point in my life. But that doesn't mean that when I did use it, doesn't mean it was bad. So, okay. Science-based lifting. This is Tyler Drake. Says science-based lifting should consult a study based on athletes that win. So here's a really fun story. Is a friend of mine, and probably one of the greatest coaches and programmers I have ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not going to name his name because he prefers to be a very anonymous, but I've watched him coach, and I looked at his programming. I was blown away. It's some of the simplest, awesomest, best program I've ever seen. He's worked with so many different athletes over, all kinds of different sports. And he was getting his master's degree in like sports science or whatever. Okay. Just so we're clear. He also coached a athlete to a medal. I believe it was a silver medal, but I'm not sure. Okay. Coached it for that particular country that he helped out. Hadn't won a medal in like 30 years. Okay, or something like that. It was ridiculous. Very rare that this country won a medal. That's all I'm going to say. To get his master's, he had to turn in some kind of project, and his project was his year-long training that he did to win this medal. Now, he didn't reference what this was, like that he won a medal. It's just what they did. He failed. Okay, and then he had to go in front of a board, and he wanted to defend it, so to speak. And one of the things he brought in to defend was the medal. He asked the athlete if he could borrow the medal, brought it in, and said, this is the training that actually led to a medal from a country that normally doesn't get them. End up getting a passing grade. So listen, that doesn't mean that science is wrong. I know there's like this big push. I'm not going to poo-poo it or anything. I'm sure it's done some great stuff, but generally speaking, the coaches and athletes that are pushing boundaries today, science is about 10 to 20 years behind, generally speaking. It's just the way it goes. So just, do what you... Listen, I'm going to tell you this. If something's working for you and it goes against, what everyone tells you, but it's working, it's fine. Don't worry about it. All right? Just keep on plugging away. You don't have to listen to everyone. That includes, you don't have to listen to me. Okay, Andrew Michael says, when doing boring but big, if I can't squat due to injury, will it work if I replace the 5 sets of 10 of boring but big work with leg press and the 5-3-1 squat with the trap bar deadlift? Yes, it will still work. The only thing I would honestly do, if I was going to use the leg press, I wouldn't be just doing sets of 10. I'd be just bombing the shit out of it. I'd be doing sets of 20 to 50 and just bombing the hell out of my legs and just getting crazy. So that's what I would do. But yes, you can do that, man. Not a problem. Le Grand Fromage says, sup? What's up, J-Dubs? There's a funny story I'm sure I've told about J-Dubs. Oh my God. He says, does Le Grand Fromage, I'm running Cryptea with the Power Clean and RDL as my main lower body lifts and doing unilateral squats as accessory. Is this enough to kick ass if I don't plan on powerlifting soon? Yes, although I would not be doing the unilateral squats when you're using power cleans and RDLs. I would be doing as assistance, I would be using the unilateral squats on the day that your main lift is an upper body lift. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. In fact, if I have a chance, there's a kid that I work with next summer, I'm gonna, if he wants to do it and I still want to do it, I'm gonna run a Cryptea style program with a hang clean, and I'm gonna start fucking around with that and using that as the main lift. So I will see. We'll see. But yes, no reason you can't do that, buddy. All right. Andrew says, in what rest periods do you recommend for the boring but big routine? Andrew, I don't know. I'd have to see. I'm not going to recommend something that is unusable for you. So as an example, we've done at the high school, occasionally during the off season, early in the off season, we will do sets of 10 throughout. Not exactly boring but big, but we will do it. We'll do, doesn't matter what we do, but it's heavy and it sucks. We will do a set on a running clock about every 2 minutes to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. All right. I don't expect everyone to be able to do that. So I would probably try to do a set every 2 minutes. All right. Just have a running clock. So you start at 0, do a set at 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, and 8 minutes. If that is way too hard, I mean, way too hard, extend the rest periods to what you can and just see how you do. So, but that would be my general recommendation. If you're not supersetting anything in between, a lot of times when we use a Cryptea style programming, we will do a set of squats, for example, for 10, and then we have a running clock again, and then next we might do like pull-ups or something. That will be done running clock every 90 seconds. So it's a little longer between squats, but shorter between movements. So if you can't, listen, do what you can. All right. So don't worry about the rest period so much in the beginning. Get your general fitness up. And then again, running clock every 2 minutes. Rat says, what conditioning do you recommend for building the monolith? I would recommend any kind of what I call easy conditioning, generally speaking. You can do the Prowler like on a Saturday, but generally speaking, I would do zone 2 style conditioning, whatever that means for you and what you have access to. That's what I would probably recommend, probably anywhere. I don't know what your conditioning's like, but I'd say between 30 and 45 minutes, probably 2 to 3 days a week. If you're going to do the Prowler, it'd be twice a week. If you're not going to do the Prowler, 3 days a week. Jonathan Crossley says he has more dumb stuff on the horizon, just nothing set in stone yet. Jonathan did a really cool challenge involving 20 rounds, I believe, of 15 lunges per leg, 5 push-ups, no, 10 push-ups, 5 pull-ups, the 15 lunges per leg, and then a kilometer run. He did that 20 times. And he wore I believe, a 20-pound weight vest or something in there. Unbelievable. So that's a lot of lunges, man. A lot of lunges, a lot of running, a lot of everything. Albert Wang says, is the one main lift per day, 4 days a week, also applied to the Beyond 531? It can, yes, if that fits your schedule. Is this the best approach for Beyond 531? I don't know. It can be 2 days, it could be 3, it could be 4, Albert. I don't know what your recovery is like. I don't know what your life is like. again, everyone that's watching this is not going to be a professional lifter or a professional athlete. So you have to adjust your training to fit your life. It's usually not the other way around. If obviously, I think there's a happy medium of 3 days a week. But listen, if you can't lift 3 days a week, it can only lift 2, you're still going to be awesome lifting 2 days a week. It's way better than lifting no days a week. All right. So 2, 3, or 4, I would recommend. I just don't know, Albert, what fits in your life and your recovery. So one of those 3 would be awesome. Matteo Spencer says, hey Jim, what strength standards do you recommend I achieve before starting 5-3-1 body weight standards? Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Also, my next question, when should I add weight to my body weight exercise currently doing workouts high volume? Okay, I'm going to assume, I'm going to throw this out there. It says, what strength standards do you recommend I achieve before starting the 5-3-1 program? You don't have to. Just start with the empty barbell or whatever you got. Start there. You don't need to be able to do a million push-ups or anything like that. Generally speaking, just start with where you are. Start with, again, if it's just an empty barbell, fine. Start there. I don't think you really need to worry about doing a million sets of this or a million reps of that before you actually use a barbell. Use it as soon as you can. My next question, when should I add weight to my body weight exercise? Again, that's hard to answer. Generally speaking, if a kid can do, we used the chains that you put on barbells, right? They're about 22 pounds. When a kid can actually do a rep with the weighted chin up, then that's when we add the weight. Even if it's just 1 or 2 lifts or reps in a session and the rest are body weight, we do it. So if we can get it done, we will get it done. I hope that makes sense. So even if you're able to just do 5 push-ups, again, we use the chains or a weight vest or something. If you can do just a couple sets of 3 to 5 reps and you feel good, go ahead and do it and then take it off. So I would add it as soon as possible, but they don't all have to be done with it. All right. You don't, just because you put a weight vest on or a chain on or whatever, doesn't mean well, I can't take this thing off, during this whole workout. I'm just damned. And this whole day I have to put this on. So again, if you could do a rep with it, we do it. All right. Even if it's just 1 or 2 sets of 1 or 2 reps. So that's what I would recommend, and have some fun. Just make sure you're warmed up and you feel good. Hey, listen, not every day is going to be awesome. So when you feel good, go ahead and put on the weight vest or whatever, or use the dip belt or chin belt. Go ahead and do a couple sets. And then once you kind of feel like you can't get much out of it, take it off and use your body weight. Guys, there's no, you got to do X, Y, and Z. All right. Have some fun. Be creative. Don't be afraid to put it on for a few sets. Hell, when I'm doing my rounds in the weight room, I will do maybe, if I'm doing, let's say 15 rounds of, squats, push-ups, chin-ups, not every round's going to be the exact same. So I might do sets of 5 on the pull-ups with my 20-pound vest. And then I'm like, holy shit, dude, I feel great. And then I'll add some additional weight to that, with a belt, right? Add a little bit of weight, maybe obviously lower the reps. And maybe after 5 rounds of that, that's about all I can do. I'm starting to tank a little bit. Take off the weight, do the last 5. So I got, 5 with the vest, 5 with the vest and weight, and then 5 rounds with the just the vest again. So, man, just have some fun. I'm just gonna call you Spencer. Have some fun, be creative. Doesn't always have to be the same every time or every set even. Uh-oh, Brandon Fink's been doing 5-3-2. Holy shit. Gonna have to check the copyright on that one. I'm just busting your balls, Brandon. For over a year, do you see anything wrong with switching the main lifts to different variations of the main lifts? Floor press for bench, front squat for back squat? Hell no. Hell no. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Example 15, 14, 13, 12, all the way to 1. This would be something I would do for pull-ups. Oh, I see. So that's a different question. So Brandon, 100% yes. All right. The only thing you're going to have to understand, Brandon, is going to be a little time for you to get used to it. So what I would do is, let's say you want to do front squat, right? I would do your regular squat workout, hold on, barbell, whatever, back squat, whatever, and then doing as part of your supplemental lift, just starting with the front squat, start with whatever weight you think, super light and easy, and just kind of for the next 3 or 4 weeks, figure out kind of where you are with the front squat so you can get used to it. Maybe figure out a training max and stuff like that. So that's what I would probably do. So again, if you're going to use floor press after you bench press, set it up on the floor press, just kind of get used to the movement, see where you're at, and then find a training max. Always start light, progress slow. So yes, Spencer, that's fine. So maybe, again, you're doing 15, 14. Listen, you do whatever you want, but add some weight occasionally. Don't worry about it. I don't do ladders or anything like that because I'm not very strong. So, but yeah, if you're going to do that, just maybe do the reverse way. So you put a weight vest on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until you can't get the reps, take it off, and then just knock out the other sets without a weight vest or whatever. So yeah. Zachary Russell says, good morning, Jimbo. What are your thoughts about using the incline press for the 5 sets of 10 movement and boring but big? Man, it's like a lot of questions. And yes, 100%. Go ahead and do it. Start light, progress slow. You'll be fine. God, do I suck at incline press. I always did. Never got good at it. Alan says, hey, Jim, what are your go-to core exercises? I really like standing cable crunches and 45-degree back extensions. Am I missing something? Well, it depends on like what you're using this for. So like when I was actually fairly strong and using barbells and stuff like that, back raises, 45-degree back raise, regular back raises, full raise glute ham raises, which also work the back. Good mornings were huge. You always do like the easier stuff like the band good mornings, band pull-throughs or cable pull-throughs, stuff like that. For my abs, I did hanging leg raises, bent knee and straight leg. Side bends were huge with me. Weighted sit-ups, the ab wheel were massive. I love the ab wheel. Now I use, because my obliques are super weak. So I do a ton of side planks. I'm really bad at that, so I've been working the shit out of that because I suck so bad. Do a lot of that. I do a lot of different kinds of planks because I also have some hernias that don't feel very good. So am I missing something? The only thing is you're going to have to get something with your obliques, Alan. So that's what I would recommend. JBJ says, hey, Jim, are you still doing only walrus workouts? Yes. I've never heard why you left barbells and chose the walrus. Was it an injury? There's a lot of factors, but the bottom line, I told this story a lot of times. I'm just going to sum it up. The bottom line was I was not able to train very hard because of a lot of different issues. I could still use it, but I could never really push it. I got tired of I'm not going to sit around and squat set after set at 225. I couldn't squat it very hard. It was boring as fuck. And so at a certain point, I remember it was May 1st, I said, screw it. I'm just going to do a Murph every single day for the next 30 days. If I feel like crap or whatever, that's fine. But after 30 days, if I want to go back and do whatever, I'll do it. So now, 30 days of that, you're not going to get any. Felt like I was doing a really good challenge. And it was at that time I realized the number one thing I missed wasn't the weightlifting or anything like that. It was being able to train my balls off and be sore and be miserable and still push through. The walrus workouts 100% allow me to push like an absolute fucking idiot. I think that's, for me, it's super important to push beyond my capabilities and to what I'm getting all fired up. I love fucking being miserable. I love the push of training. So that's why I did it. And I have zero desire to ever lift a barbell again. Don't care because I realized, again, my love of lifting and strength wasn't the barbell. It was doing physical things that were very difficult. That's why I love pushing the Prowler for half miles and 1 miles. That's why I like putting on the weight vest and just doing 500 squats, 300 push-ups, and 100 pull-ups. And why I did 50 stairs yesterday, 50 rows in less than 50 minutes. Fucking smoked my legs. I was dying. For someone that has not been able to train as much, due to a lot of different issues, like I couldn't believe I was able to do that. Absolutely killed myself. That's the shit I like. Has nothing to do with squatting. It had all to do with pushing myself. So again, I'm not saying that I'm in any way physically capable like a lot of people. I'm low on the totem pole with the Wallers stuff. And that to me makes it even more exciting because I suck at it. I suck at it. There's kids I coach fucking smoke me every time, all right, even though I do it all the time. It's just the way it goes. I'm not good at it. I think it's awesome to try. It challenges me physically and mentally every single day. And the other thing is, let's just be honest, I want to do it. If I don't want to do anything, I've said this before, then I'm just not going to do it. That's why I never pay my taxes. Fuck the government. All right, here we go. I'm joking, I have to pay taxes. You have to pay them quarterly. Albert Wang, the only reason why you pay quarterly is so you don't jump out of a fucking building. Ugh. They just print more money. What do I need my fucking money for? All right, Albert Wang says, can I use the main lift variations as down sets for Beyond 531? Yes, Albert, I already said that. That was the first thing. Yes, you can use this supplemental. What are we doing here? I'm going to lose my spot. Oh, boy. Sitter, I'm never going to be able to pronounce your name, buddy. So I'm going to call you Sid. Fuck it. That's your name. All right? Please don't like the Sex Pistols. What a horrible band. He says, good morning, does Sid. For your information, you did not mangle my... Oh, fuck. Oh, I probably have horrible CTE right now. So I apologize, though, by not saying it correct today. I appreciate you saying that. And I'm glad. Listen, if you got a question, I'll try to be as honest as possible. And I'll do my best. I love doing this, man. If I had the time, I would do this every single day. I don't know how much popular it would be. But I love doing this shit. Absolutely love it. All right, here we go. Tyler Drake. Well, that's a strong name right there. Says, hey, I got the wife pulling sleds with me now and getting my parents moving too. Good for you. That's hard to do. Been trying to teach my family basic moves so they can live forever. I assume that that's the goal of 531 forever. Listen, my parents are away in Europe right now they always bike every year. They go to Europe and bike across a whole bunch of different countries. So whether it's, again, I've said this, it's barbells or kettlebells or body weight or weight vest or whatever, you got to physically do something that's taxing and hard. All right. And I think you need to do something strength wise, something conditioning wise, and still do some kind of mobility and flexibility, whatever the hell that entails. So that's the most important thing. If your wife loves using sleds, man, make that make sure she's doing some upper body, push-ups or bench press or dumbbell bench, some kind of pulling. Sleds are awesome, man. Sleds are the most versatile piece of equipment that I have, and I think anyone should have. All right, here's Big Easy 11. It says, hey, Jim, do you think that at a certain training age, it is a good idea to abandon the big barbell lifts? No. I don't. If you can do them, I think you should 100% do them. 100%. Now, if they're causing you issues and you can't find a way around it, then yeah, you probably shouldn't do it. But if I was in the perfect world and I go over to the local, it's elderly people living in an independent community. If I can go over there and they could use barbells, I think it's the most efficient way to get stronger and to feel better. But not everyone can do it. So the answer is not a good idea unless something's bothering you. If so, how do you go about structuring your training without them? Again, that's when I started doing walrus training. You can find, there's videos on it. There's a million articles on it. We just use a basic training setup. Allows you to do a lot of different things. We use the sleds, obviously, a lot of body weight stuff. You can use kettlebells, dumbbells, stuff like that. Again, I'm not going to bore everyone with it. Easy. I talk about it in a bunch of different videos. So yeah, that's how we do it. So instead we're not body weight, or we're not doing barbell squats, we'll do body weight squats or dumbbell squats, or we'll do kettlebell swings or Prowler pushes or sled drags for our lower body work. So yeah, that's how we do it. We do use what I call walrus training. So that's how you get around it. I love training like that. The kids that I work with always have some kind of variation in there. We don't just use barbells, obviously, when I work with the kids. So we use that as kind of how we do the assistance work. Not exactly doing all the circuits, but we're always trying to find other ways to get stronger. Okay, suspense is killing me. What's up, Jim? Hello. What's your take on the benefits of buying normal bumper plates versus competition bumpers for high school? Thanks, boss. Yeah, I wouldn't buy competition bumpers for the high school. You kidding me? Fuck no. No. If we had the money, I would have placed all of our steel plates with normal bumper plates. I think they work way better, especially when we're doing trap bar, because they'd start getting wobbly and it's a pain in the ass. But I wouldn't buy competition bumpers. No way. They don't. It's ridiculous. It's a huge waste of money. All right, but hey, it's suspense. If you gotta like use it as a way to launder money, man, I guess say that you bought the competition ones, whatever, right? Isn't that what they do? So no, it's pointless to have competition bumpers. Ryan Steck says, "Hey Jim, no question this week, but hit a spicy challenge." Ooh, here we go. Last weekend. All right. So 1 mile farmer carry with 53-pound kettlebell in each hand. Oh, this. I already knew what was coming up, Ryan. I knew that wasn't enough. Every time the kettlebells touch the ground, 20 push-ups on the kettlebell handles. That sounds fucking miserable. Absolutely miserable. Oh. The real thing, Ryan, is did you have chalk available? So when I do all my farm carries, I always carry a quart baggie. It looks like I'm carrying like some fucking cocaine or something in my bag. So, but whenever I put the implement down, whether it be kettlebells or usually use the trap bar, I always have a block of chalk in my pocket in a baggie. Make sure that the handles are well chalked up. So, but God, that's horrible, man. And I'll tell you what, Ryan, I'm sure at the end you were trying to run as much as possible with everyone. Oh, does that sound horrible, buddy? I saw someone do something similar, Ryan, and I don't remember where I saw it, but it was very similar. They wore a weight vest and did some kind of kettlebell, in each arm or dumbbell or something. But every time they put the kettlebells or whatever down, they had to do like 15 lunges per leg. So you have to be very smart about what you pick. I think they talked about some guy was really overzealous in how many, what the weight for the kettlebells or dumbbells were. I think he ended up doing something like 300 to 400 lunges per leg. Oh, just miserable. Just miserable. Dirty Harry Callahan says, "Hey, I have a hernia and can't back squat. Can I use Zercher as my main lift?" 100% yes. Yes. Jonathan Crosley. Jonathan is one of the definitely beyond the Mount Rushmore of stupidity in our world, like our small world here online. He says he did the horrible challenge. He says it was dumb, but nothing that hurt me per se, just a grind. That's what I loved about this style of training. You can just kind of grind through it. It doesn't require much talent, or it just requires a ton of effort and grit. He said he was fairly prepared, considered doing about an hour of walrus training most days of the week. Yeah, so you were physically ready. It's just a matter of just, again, gutting through it. He again goes on, "I don't know what science there is behind walrus training, but it works, and it works very well. It's also very easy to be consistent with the training. That's one of the things. That's why I love doing it. I can do it a lot." Travis Branch says, "Good morning, Jim. Can you elaborate a little on what the running and conditioning looks like for the football team? How do you pair it with your lifting days? Thanks for doing this. Have a great day." So generally speaking, Travis, I have a couple different things that we can do. We run as soon as the season's over. On that Friday or Saturday we play the game. We are back in the weight room usually on Monday. If not, then the next Monday. We start running immediately, Travis. So my goal you have to understand is we never want our kids to be out of shape or ever lose the ability to sprint or run. All right. So with that in mind, Travis, you have to understand if you start training as an 8th grader, right? You come over, usually the 8th graders get issued into our training the spring semester of their 8th grade year. So from that time until they graduate, they are running year round. Now, because we run year round, Travis, we don't have to run that much. We run so little in a day, it's ridiculous. So generally speaking, we will have 1 or 2 days early on in the off season where we'll do hundreds or 50s, and it might be 10 hundreds or 15 50s broken up, or we'll just do laps. We'll do 3 or 4 laps around the field, one at a time. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's just general physical preparedness. I know our kids are never going to run whatever that is, 350 yards or 360 yards around the field. I understand that, but the kids just need to run. That's all. We are not training anything specific at this time. Every Friday, Travis, we do the Prowler, okay? So that's what we do, hundreds, 50s, and laps. That's it. It probably takes, each workout probably takes 10 to 15 minutes. That's it. Once the season starts getting closer, on Wednesdays, we will do, and Wednesday's our bench day. That's when we do all our speed and change of direction work. And again, Friday's always the Prowler. Monday, usually 50s, stuff like that. So it's a little, and we usually rest, we'll do a 50 every 30 seconds when we do 3 sets of 5 or something like that. So that's what we do. It's very, very easy. When we do cone drills and speed work, we try to do as competitive as possible. Generally no more than 20 minutes. Prowler, just the Prowler work alone probably takes about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Depends on what we're doing. So that's about it, man. It's as simple as possible. Again, nothing terribly specific to training until, maybe 2 or 3 months before the season, we start to ease into it. So the whole important thing, Travis, is one, we never lose the ability, the physical ability to do sprints and running and jumping and lifting. We're always doing that year round. So we don't have to ease into anything. Number 2 is we are never out of shape, ever. And because our kids are consistently running all the time, we don't need to do a shitload of conditioning work, 8 weeks before the season. We're already in good shape. And number 3, the other thing that we do very well is we don't condition during practice. The kids have long enough practices. They're running around. Again, my goal isn't to, and our goal as a coaching staff is not to be the best conditioning team. Our goal is to win games on Friday. The best way to do that, if the kids are properly prepared physically and they're not worn out, the best way I know how to do that is to train consistently, train smart, have some fun, but never be out of shape. I can't tell you how important that is. And I'm telling you right now, I've talked with a couple coaches and different things. I am telling you, training consistently in the weight room, jumping, running, is the biggest and easiest cheat code to achieve success athletically in the high school world. 100%. And when I say consistently, that doesn't mean 8 weeks, 12 weeks. It means year round. I'm telling you, if I had a group of 10 kids, so it's a very small group, we could be in and out of there in 35 minutes from warm up to the last lift. Any coach can do that, right? I think they can. And even if you're just doing a basic warm up, a little bit of this, and maybe 2 or 3 movements in the weight room, as long as it's progressive and smart, you don't load them like a retard, man, you're going to be awesome. It is a cheat code beyond belief, guys. All right, Zazzan Basak says, hey, coach, I only have access 10 to 90-pound dumbbells in my home gym. I cannot add more weight. What do you suggest for making strength progress? Is there a way to increase intensity? Yeah, just do more total reps. More reps per set, more total reps in a workout. So, for example, if you got the 90-pound dumbbell and you're going to do dumbbell squats or something, instead of doing 3 sets of 10, you got to do 75 total reps and stuff like that. Yeah. Just more total reps, and you can obviously go heavier on some exercises, right? So, yeah, we do that. We use dumbbells all the time. And we give the rep ranges for the kids. Everyone gets crazy. Got to be 8 to 12. You do 13, you might as well not even lift. You ever hear those people? If you don't eat a post-workout drink, you better not even work out. Nah, creatine. It's a steroid. Creatine's a steroid. I kept my mouth shut. I was going to say something. Anyway, yes, just increase the reps. There you go. There's ways. Read about croc rows and how that developed, and you'll understand how you can look outside the box as far as strength and sets and reps. So check that out. Alessandro says, hello, boss. Is Cryptea a good choice if I'm seeking body recomposition, more muscle, less fat at the same time? I also do boxing 3 times a week. Any modifications should I do? I don't know if it's good for you. It would be good if you had someone who knew what they were doing. I'm not saying you don't know how to do that. But if my goal was like to lose fat, I mean, you're trying to do all the... Listen, you've got like 3 things going on here. You're trying to put more muscle on. You're trying to lose fat. You're trying to box. So honestly, if I were you, I would probably lift. The most important thing for seeking body recomposition and gaining muscle is just lifting weights and controlling your diet. Those 2 things are going to be the big things. So I don't think it would be the best choice unless you knew someone who could run it and adjust it based on, because obviously you're going to be cutting a ton of calories, right? So I don't know if it would. The most important thing is you follow some basic rules, right? Protein, watch the carbs. I would probably, if I were you, I would probably have your training max at 80%. And during this next time, I wouldn't increase, whatever you're doing this for. That time, I wouldn't increase the training max. And just when you have good days, push harder. When you have bad days, push less, because there's going to be a time when your body shuts down if you keep on trying to add weight and take less fuel and keep on doing all this boxing session. So my modifications are busy training or training for the busy and inconsistent man, adjust the calories, and just be careful. Keep the training max the same. Cursive Q says, you see a lot of kids. My kid is 6 foot tall at 13. A height prediction site said he will be 6'6" as an adult. When do you see most kids' growth spurts in high school? I see a lot of different ones, man. I see kids in 8th grade have their spurt. I see kids when they graduate. We had a couple of kids upon graduation put on 6 to 7 inches. It's crazy. So usually it's freshman or sophomore year, but it's going to vary quite a bit. So I wouldn't get too wrapped up in that. Just keep on physically challenging them. Make sure that they're, socially and emotionally developing and stuff like that. And whatever happens, happens. So you got no real control over that. So again, it's usually be freshman and sophomore year, generally speaking. Okay, Andrew Michael says, it's often mentioned that the Prowler, what I call a sledge, doesn't cause any fatigue, but whenever I've used it, I find fatigue in my lower back and glute if I pull it, and feet if I push it. Okay, yeah, so maybe that's what it does for you. Generally, it doesn't do it for many people, so you might have some kind of pre-existing condition. Maybe your lower back is rounded when you use it. I don't know. There's obviously not everything's going to affect everyone the exact same. We can talk in generalities, and generally speaking, it's very easy on the body. So, but if it's hurting you and affecting you, then that's fine. So yeah, then you just have to limit it and be smart about it. So hard for me to say. And again, we speak in general realities here, right? Not everyone can do everything, so it doesn't make it bad or good. But in your case, you're going to have to modify or just be wary of it. So, and yeah, man, I push the Prowler and my feet and legs get extremely tired. I just don't get sore. So there's a big difference between things getting fatigued and things getting sore. Jesse says, I always struggle mentally with wanting to do more work than need to be. I've been running 5-through-1 originals some days. I'll add boring but big others I might do FSL with. Do you see anything wrong with this? Hell no. You do what you can, buddy. That's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. As long as you're doing the basics, Jesse, you're fine. If you want to do this for a little bit, maybe one day you don't want to do it. Fuck it, who gives a shit? As long as you're consistent, man. Training max is solid. Get some assistance work in on like pulling and abs and stuff like that. You do whatever you want. Not every day is going to be golden. Most important thing is you do the basics. Again, read Busy Training for Inconsistent Men. Read that article and understand you can kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You can, oh my God, Jesse, I apologize. You can just pick and choose like buffet style based on your daily readiness. We do that all the time. When I was at Westside, when I was training in college, high school, you always have like a base of shit that you know you need to do. Whatever that is, it should be very simple. If you can do more, go ahead and do it. If something's wrong, you know, you've got to get out or whatever, you're not feeling great, man, just get the basics in and call it a day. Zafrican says, thank you for being here week to week. You are very welcome. Scruffy McBuffy says, happy Thursday. Any tips for increasing pull-up rep max? I've been stuck at 10 for a long-ass time. So what I would probably do is, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. Generally speaking, we just do pull-ups at least every other day. And I would keep the reps between, I'd say for you, maybe 2 to 4 reps, and do as many sets as you can in the workout. So for example, let's say you're bench pressing, Scruff, you do a set of bench, even on the warm-up sets, you do a set of pull-ups. And then you maybe doing squats. So every set that you do, including main lift and assistance lifts, you're always doing a set of pull-ups, all right? Changing your grip and stuff like that. I would do that if I were you. Do 6 to 8 weeks and see if your pull-up doesn't increase. That's all we do, is we just do a lot of low rep pull-ups. As an example, my youngest son, all he does is pull-ups is either as part of his warm-up, or my wife does a lot of the, she calls it special forces, but most of the time it's sets at 2 and 3. He got up to doing sets of, he did a set of 20. He's going to probably get up to 25 soon. He was also able to do weighted pull-ups, 53 for 5 and 26 for 10. And this is not doing any weighted pull-ups, and mostly just doing low rep, high density sets. Highly recommend it if you can do it. If you do that too, Scruff, make sure you do a lot of your sets with a neutral grip. It will save your elbows quite a bit. Zachary Russell says, thanks again, Jimbo. What tumbling or acrobatic would you recommend for a dad in his mid-30s who wants to get mobile and athletic? Zach, I'm going to tell you, buddy, I would be very careful with that. If I were you, Zach, this is what I would do. I am nowhere near qualified to answer this question. So what I would do is I would find if you can go to a class, they have like adult gymnastics or such shit like that. And I mean, go to the most remedial thing that you can. It'd be awesome if you could get hands-on. If not, what I would probably do is watch a bunch of videos on YouTube about like tumbling and acrobatic shit for like middle-aged dudes. I would invest in some kind of pad or mat, and they will take you through progressions. But I think the most basic things you could do would be just a forward tumble. All right, again, that's it. And I would probably do, if you can work yourself up to a cartwheel. Those two things I think would be awesome. But again, for me teaching, I don't really do a great job teaching, especially big difference between teaching a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old and doing it for a 30-year-old. I mean, it's a big difference. So that's what I would probably recommend. YouTube is your friend. Again, if you find a class locally or, in the next town over, even if it's once a week, it would be awesome to have someone who actually knows what they're doing. Just like if you're learning to lift weights, big difference if you just go to the local gym and ask someone versus, coming into my garage and having me work with you. Huge difference, and it's the same idea. Papayama says, 2 questions for you. Do you like typo negative? Yeah, not a huge, giant fan, but yeah, like everyone else, I got bloody kisses when it came out. Love, I don't know if I've seen them in concert though. I don't remember I don't think I have. So, but yeah, fun to listen to. I think the best thing about typo negative is their sense of humor, and it's such dark, obviously grim style music, but I think some of the funniest shit. Black number 1, read those lyrics, absolutely hilarious. You don't want to go out because their roots are showing. Anyway, what would you say is the biggest change you've noticed in your physique and strength since you started training walrus style exclusively? Biggest change? I was just able to lose weight, but that was more of a diet thing. It had not really to do with the training. I know my chest got bigger because I'm doing so many pull-ups, or I'm sorry, push-ups. I think if I was able to do dips on the reg, I think I would have gotten a little bigger in the shoulders because dips always make my shoulders smoked. I don't know if it really changed. You lose a little bit of muscle mass, but it's not like I needed to be 240 pounds anymore. But I also like the biggest change is I feel like I can use my strength every day a little more. It's a little more applicable to everyday life. That's the best way. That's why I call it Suburban Commando. So I just feel better on a daily basis, and because I feel better, I feel like I can do more things. I hope that makes sense. A lot of times, if you're pulling 550, for a set of 10 or something like that, or whatever, and doing all this other stuff, the next couple of days, you feel like you can't really do anything. So my joints generally feel better. So. Taylor says, hey, I got nothing productive to say other than you're the man. I appreciate it, Taylor. We're going to get rolling here. Let's see. Scruff McBuff says, thank you, Taylor. I appreciate it. I'm not sure. Oh, it's a hand. That's okay. For a second, because I don't have the greatest vision, I thought it was like a pair of flesh-colored underwear or something. So, in fact, if I had the money, I would hire 2 people to put their hands like that, and that would be my underwear. They'd have to follow me around with my junk in their hands. Scruff McBuff says you're a saint in an industry full of turds. So, everyone, when you read stuff, right, everyone reads ahead. I saw the word saint and I saw turds, and I thought you were going to talk about my taint for a second. It just kind of filled in the blanks. So, Jesse Driscoll says, example, chest day, 65, 75, 85, 90, training max after Boeing but big, or FSL or nothing. Also, knee raises, incline dumbbell sets. Dumbbells, I walk 1 to 2 miles while at daughter's chair. This sounds good? Yeah. Listen, Jesse, keep the training max good. Barbell speed is awesome. You're giving full effort, smashing the shit out of your assistants, getting a good sweat in. Everything's getting jacked. Everything's getting pumped. Everything's getting strong. Yes, that's fine. You're good to go. Jesse, listen, I'm telling you guys, the most basic program can work provided you are given a ton of effort. Every rep is dialed in, all right? It doesn't have to be a 2-hour workout. You just do that consistently, right? I always tell the kids, this section of the training, everyone's getting jacked today. I want to see sets to failure. I want to see blood coming out of your nose, stuff like that. We may only, in that section, train for 12 minutes. Those guys, the kids, will give more effort in 12 minutes than most people give in a 2-hour workout. That's all I expect out of them. But you got to stack those days. Just because you're doing incline dumbbell sets of 15 to 20 and dumbbell rows, that's great, but how hard are you pushing those sets? All right, I'd rather see you do 2 or 3 incredibly hard sets than 10 sets of 15 to 20 and just kind of mailing it in. So, Jesse, I understand what you're saying, buddy, but my thing is, are you training fucking hard? That's the thing. Are you consistently training fucking hard? That's it. Ryan Steck says, hey, I walked with a piece of chalk in my pocket. Ryan was doing the 53 pound kettlebells for the horrible thing. The only issue, Ryan, is I left a nice, probably a quarter block of chalk in my pocket. Threw it in the whatever, the washing machine or whatever, and my wife washed it. One of the benefits of being married to my wife is I haven't done laundry in 15 years or however long we've been together. So yeah, she was not happy that she washed and dried. Oh, it was gross. So anyway, Zafferkin says, Walrus training reminds me of Herschel Walker's very high rep bodyweight training. He claims he never lifted weights. Listen, Herschel Walker is a genetic freak, guys. There's no 2 ways around it. You don't get to that level of football, of being a Heisman Trophy winner, and then at 50 joins Strikeforce, becomes a professional MMA fighter. All right, so obviously Herschel Walker said he didn't do all that stuff. I don't believe it for a lot. I think Herschel Walker did other stuff, and Herschel Walker is an absolute genetic freak. So just so everyone understands, you're not going to turn into Herschel Walker because you're doing push-ups and sit-ups and dips and squats. So just people, please understand that. All right. just be the best version of yourself, whatever you're doing. Don't worry about any of that shit. That always makes me upset when people compare themselves to other people. You're not them, all right? You're you. Just be an awesome version of you. All right, last question here. Jamizi 312 says, hey, Jim, you are the best. Thank you. I switched to walrus and calisthenics style full body workouts 3 times a week. And I'm finally in love with training again. Barbells just aren't my thing, I guess. That's awesome, man. Just the only thing I'm going to tell you is if you want to try something different, as long as you're physically pushing yourself, and again, we're fucking training hard, you're going to be fine. Nothing wrong with trying something different, all right? Nothing wrong. Are you still putting your hand in the fire? Are you still, putting your balls in the vice, so to speak? And that's the best advice I can give you, all right? I did, the other day, I didn't have my weight vest on. I absolutely crushed myself. I mean, crushed myself. I didn't throw up or anything, but I was like, oh my God, I missed, because of, all my issues I've had, I missed training like an absolute idiot. I was smoked. I had to take off my shorts and my shirt in the weight room. They were so soaked. You have to hang them up from the monolift, and they just get big pools of water walking through the house with my undies on. My son's not terribly happy, obviously. Come on, Dad. That's right, baby. All right. I will see everyone next week. I believe next week, although I could be wrong, should be on Friday. But as soon as our football season starts, I'll have Friday mornings free. So it's going to be either Thursday or Friday. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you guys. If you want to do something awesome this weekend, some kind of challenge, whether it's walking a farmer's walk for a mile with push-ups or doing anything like that, man, have some fun, push yourself. Obviously, don't die, but have a great day. I appreciate everyone who asked questions. Again, I never say this, join the forum if you want more detailed stuff about not just what I do, but what other people are doing, whether it's with them or coaching their athletes. The Jim Wendler Forum. Love you guys. Thank you. Have a great weekend.